Ryder, that's me. Or at least that's what everyone keeps telling me. Waking up in that sterile hospital room in Manhattan felt like emerging from a fog thicker than the one rolling off the Hudson River on a crisp autumn morning. The doctors said it was retrograde amnesia, a cruel twist from the car accident that had flipped my world upside down on the I-95 last spring. They patched up the broken ribs and the concussion, but the memories? Those were scattered like autumn leaves in Central Park, irretrievable for now. Jordan was the first face I saw when my eyes fluttered open. Tall, with that rugged jawline and hazel eyes that seemed to hold the weight of the world, he hovered by my bedside like a guardian angel who'd forgotten how to fly. "Ryder, babe, you're awake," he whispered, his voice thick with relief. But I just stared at him, this stranger with calloused hands gripping mine too tightly. Who was he? A friend? Family? The nurses filled in the blanks. My partner of 5 years, the love of my life, apparently. We met at a pride parade in Greenwich Village, bonded over cheap beer, and shared dreams of escaping the corporate grind for a quiet life upstate. But to me, it was all hearsay, a story from someone else's book. Discharge day came with a flurry of paperwork and well wishes. Jordan drove us home in his beat-up Ford pickup, the one he said we'd bought together after our first road trip to the Grand Canyon. The city blurred past, skyscrapers piercing the sky, yellow cabs honking like impatient geese. "We'll take it slow," he promised, glancing at me with that soft smile. "I'll help you remember." But as we pulled into our cozy brownstone in Brooklyn, doubt gnawed at me. The place felt familiar in a ghostly way. The worn leather couch where we'd binge-watched Netflix marathons, the kitchen counter scarred from my failed attempts at cooking Italian. Photos lined the walls, us hiking in the Adirondacks, kissing at a Yankees game, arms around each other at a friend's wedding in San Francisco. Each one stabbed at the void in my mind. That first night, Jordan cooked my favorite meal, or what he claimed was my favorite, grilled cheese with tomato soup, a comfort food from my Midwestern childhood. We sat at the table, the silence heavy as the steam rising from our bowls. "Tell me about us," I finally said, poking at the sandwich. He leaned back, eyes lighting up like the Times Square billboards. "You were the one who made the first move. At that Pride event, you grabbed my hand during the parade and said, 'Life's too short for regrets.' We danced until dawn." His words painted a picture of passion, of lazy Sundays in bed, whispering secrets under the covers. But as he spoke, a flicker of something stirred in me, not memory, but emotion, a warmth that made my pulse quicken. Days turned into weeks, and Jordan became my anchor in this uncharted sea. He took time off from his job as a graphic designer to care for me, guiding me through physical therapy sessions in the park, where joggers zipped by and dogs barked at squirrels. We'd walk hand in hand, his touch tentative at first, then bolder. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the Brooklyn Bridge, he pulled me close. "I miss you, Ryder. The real you." His lips brushed mine, and for a split second, it felt right, like coming home after a long journey. But then the fog returned, and I pulled away, mumbling excuses about headaches. Therapy helped a bit. Dr. Ellis, a kind-eyed woman in Midtown, suggested journaling, revisiting old haunts. Jordan and I drove to the Hamptons one weekend, where he said we'd spent our anniversary building sandcastles and making love under the stars. The ocean's roar echoed my inner turmoil. What if I never remember? I asked him that night, lying on the beach blanket. He traced patterns on my back. "Then we'll make new memories. That's what love is, starting over." His optimism was infectious, but beneath it, I sensed cracks. Late at night, I'd catch him staring at old photos, tears glistening in his eyes. As autumn painted the city in reds and golds, fragments began to surface. A dream of us dancing in a crowded bar, his laughter ringing like bells. The scent of his cologne triggering a rush of affection. But with the good came the bad, flashes of arguments, of me storming out after he worked late again. Was our life as perfect as he painted? One day, while sorting through drawers, I found a letter addressed to Jordan from someone named Chris. "Miss our nights," it read. My heart plummeted. Who was Chris? When I confronted Jordan, his face paled. "An old friend," he said quickly. Nothing more. But the seed of doubt was planted, watering the growing storm inside me. By Thanksgiving, the tension simmered. We hosted friends, our tight-knit group from the LGBTQ center where we'd volunteered. Laughter filled the air, turkey roasting in the oven, but I felt like an outsider in my own life. Mark, a mutual buddy, pulled me aside. Jordan's been through hell without you. Give him time. But as the night wore on, I overheard whispers. Ryder doesn't know about the fight before the accident. What fight? That night, in bed, I pressed Jordan. We were on the rocks, he admitted, voice breaking. You thought I was seeing someone else. But I wasn't, Ryder. I swear. His plea hung in the air, heavy with unspoken truths. The hook of that slammed door echoed in my mind as winter approached, snow blanketing the streets like a fresh start. But fresh starts come with prices, and mine was unraveling the man I was supposed to love. Christmas lights twinkled along Fifth Avenue, casting a magical glow that clashed with the turmoil in my soul. Jordan and I bundled up against the chill, strolling through Rockefeller Center, the massive tree towering like a beacon of holiday cheer. Couples skated on the rink below, hand in hand, their joy a stark contrast to our strained silence. Remember last year? We got engaged here, Jordan said, pointing to a spot near the Prometheus statue. Engaged? The ring on my finger suddenly felt foreign, a relic from a life I couldn't claim. I stopped, the crowd swirling around us like snowflakes in a storm. Jordan, I need space. All of this. It's too much. His face crumpled, hazel eyes filling with hurt. Space? Ryder, we've been through worse. But had we? The amnesia had stolen not just memories, but trust. That letter from Chris haunted me, a ghost in our relationship. Back home, I rifled through more drawers while Jordan was at work, unearthing emails on an old laptop. Flirty messages, late-night meetups. Chris was no old friend. He was Jordan's ex, from college days in Boston. They'd reconnected last year, during one of our rough patches. Confrontation came like a blizzard. You lied, I shouted, thrusting the printouts at him. He sank onto the couch, head in hands. It was nothing physical, just emotional support when things got tough between us. You were always working, Ryder. Your job at the ad agency consumed you. I felt alone. His confession sliced deep, revealing fissures I'd forgotten. We argued until dawn, voices echoing off the walls. I thought we were solid, I whispered, exhaustion settling in. He pulled me into a hug, his body warm and familiar. We are. Forgive me. Forgiveness came in waves, buoyed by therapy sessions where Dr. Ellis urged communication. Jordan cut ties with Chris, deleting contacts in front of me. We rebuilt slowly. Date nights at jazz clubs in Harlem, weekend getaways to the Catskills. One snowy evening, as we hiked through powdery trails, he stopped and knelt. Marry me again, Ryder. For the future, not the past. Tears froze on my cheeks as I nodded, the ring slipping back on with purpose. Love, I realized, wasn't just memory, it was choice. But shadows lingered. Flashbacks intensified, a heated fight in our kitchen, me accusing Jordan of infidelity after seeing him with Chris at a cafe. The accident happened that night. I'd driven off in rage, tires screeching on wet roads. Guilt twisted in my gut. Was the amnesia my punishment? Jordan noticed my withdrawal. Talk to me, he begged one night, as we lay entangled under the comforter. I confessed the fragments, and he held me tighter. It was my fault too. I should have been honest. Spring bloomed, mirroring our tentative renewal. We volunteered at a youth shelter in Queens, helping LGBTQ teens navigate their identities. Seeing Jordan mentor a scared kid reminded me why I'd fallen for him. His kindness, his fire. One afternoon, as cherry blossoms fell like confetti in Prospect Park, we picnicked. I'm starting to remember, I admitted. His kiss was electric, reigniting sparks long dimmed. Yet, betrayal's sting resurfaced when Mark let slip more details at a barbecue. Jordan was devastated after the accident, but he confided in Chris again. Fury boiled over. I confronted Jordan in our backyard, burgers forgotten on the grill. You went back to him? While I was in a coma? He denied it vehemently. Just a call for support. Nothing more. But doubt festered, a cancer in our bond. Summer heat waves amplified the tension. We attended Pride again, rainbow flags waving proudly. Amid the parade's energy, I felt adrift. Jordan's hand in mine felt like a chain. That night, in a rooftop bar overlooking the East River, I snapped. I can't do this anymore. The lies, the half-truths, it's killing me. He pleaded, tears streaming. Ryder, please. I love you. But I walked away, hailing a cab to a friend's place in Jersey. Alone in the guest room, memories flooded back unbidden. Our first kiss, whispered promises, the way he'd trace my scars with gentle fingers. Pain mingled with longing. Was leaving the answer? Or was my heart, stubborn and true, reminding me of what amnesia couldn't erase? The city hummed outside, indifferent to my chaos. I scrolled through old texts, each one a breadcrumb leading back to him. But pride held me back, until a late-night call from Jordan shattered the silence. "Come home," he whispered. "We can fix this." Hesitation gripped me, but deep down, the pull was undeniable. Fall returned, leaves crunching underfoot like broken promises as I moved into a sublet in Williamsburg. The hipster vibe, coffee shops buzzing with artists, street art splashing color on brick walls, did little to mend my fractured heart. Jordan's calls went unanswered at first, but his voicemails piled up. "Ryder, I messed up, but don't throw us away." Each one chipped at my resolve. Work became my refuge. Back at the ad agency in Midtown, colleagues welcomed me with cautious hugs. "Glad you're remembering," my boss said, assigning me a big campaign for a tech startup. Late nights at the office blurred into weekends, pushing thoughts of Jordan aside. But echoes persisted, a song on the radio we'd danced to, a cologne scent wafting from a passerby. One evening, at a networking event in Chelsea, I met Ethan, a charismatic photographer with a disarming smile and stories of travels through the Southwest. We hit it off over craft beers, his easy laughter a balm. "You're intriguing, Ryder," he said, eyes sparkling. Dates followed. Museums in the Met, strolls along the High Line. Ethan's touch was new, exciting, but hollow compared to the depth I'd shared with Jordan. News of my rebound reached Jordan through mutual friends. He showed up at my door one rainy night, soaked and desperate. "Is this it? You're moving on?" His voice trembled, rain mixing with tears. I let him in, the apartment feeling too small for our history. "You betrayed me," I accused. He paced, hands gesturing wildly. "It was a mistake. Chris meant nothing. You were my everything." We argued, voices rising like the thunder outside. But as anger peaked, it shattered into passion. We collapsed into each other, clothes shedding like old skin, bodies remembering what minds forgot. The next morning, regret dawned with the sun. "This changes nothing," I said, pulling away. Jordan nodded, defeated. "I'll fight for us, Ryder, until you tell me to stop." He left, and I buried myself in work, but the encounter lingered, a spark in the ashes. High trio built during a business trip to Los Angeles. Palm trees swayed under endless blue skies, a far cry from New York's grit. Ethan joined me, our fling intensifying amid Hollywood glamour. But in quiet moments, Jordan's face haunted me. A call from Dr. Ellis confirmed progress. "Memories are resurfacing because you're confronting emotions." Back in NYC, I confided in Mark over brunch in the Village. "Jordan's spiraling," he revealed. "He's talking about leaving the city." Panic surged. I rushed to our old apartment, key still on my chain. Jordan was packing boxes, face gaunt. "What are you doing?" I demanded. He turned, eyes red-rimmed. "Giving you what you want, space." The sight broke me. We talked for hours, unraveling the web of lies and hurts. He admitted to an emotional affair with Chris during our pre-accident fights, born from loneliness. "I was weak, Ryder, but I never stopped loving you." Forgiveness teetered on the edge. As winter loomed, I suggested couples therapy. Sessions in a cozy office overlooking Central Park peeled back layers. My workaholism, his insecurities from a conservative upbringing in Texas. We laughed, cried, rediscovered intimacy. One night, under a blanket fort in the living room, like we'd done as newlyweds, he whispered, "You're my heart, Ryder. Amnesia or not." But betrayal's echo returned when Chris appeared at a gallery opening Jordan attended for work. Photos surfaced on social media, them chatting, too close for comfort. Rage blinded me. "You promised," I yelled over the phone. He swore it was innocent, but trust fractured anew. In the storm's eye, I decided to leave for good. Booked a flight to Seattle, a fresh start with a job offer. Packing my bags, heart heavy, memories assaulted me. Jordan's proposal under the stars, our vows to weather any storm. At the airport, boarding pass in hand, I hesitated. My heart remembered. The love, the pain, the unbreakable bond. The airport buzzed with holiday travelers, suitcases rolling like thunder as I stood at the gate for Flight 237 to Seattle. Snow flurried outside the windows, mirroring the chaos in my mind. Jordan's last text glowed on my screen. If you go, know I'll always love you. My finger hovered over delete, but instead, I dialed his number. Don't board that plane, he answered, voice urgent. I'm coming. He arrived breathless, coat dusted with snow, eyes pleading. Ryder, hear me out one last time. We found a quiet corner amid the announcements, the world fading. Chris was there by chance, he explained. I told him it's over, for good. Proof followed. Deleted messages, blocked numbers. But more than words, it was his vulnerability. The man who'd stood by me through amnesia, through doubts, that swayed me. We left the airport hand in hand, cab ride silent, but charged. Back in Brooklyn, we unpacked not just boxes, but souls. Let's start over, I said. No secrets. He nodded, pulling me close. That night, love reignited, bodies and hearts aligning in a dance of redemption. Winter melted into spring, our bond stronger for the scars. Therapy continued, memories fully returning, the accident's fury, but also the joy preceding it. We renewed vows in a small ceremony at City Hall, friends cheering as we kissed under falling petals. Pride that year was triumphant, us marching with banners high, symbols of resilience. Life settled into a rhythm, Jordan's designs flourishing, my career balanced with time for us. We adopted a rescue dog, Max, whose wagging tail filled our home with laughter. Trips to national parks, Yellowstone, Zion, rebuilt our adventures. In quiet moments, I traced Jordan's face, whispering, I remember everything now, especially loving you. But human stories aren't fairy tales. Challenges arose. Jordan's job relocation offer to Chicago tested us. Go if you must, I said, heart aching. He declined, choosing us. Home is wherever you are. His sacrifice deepened our connection, a testament to growth. As years passed, we mentored at the shelter, sharing our story to inspire. Love survives amnesia, betrayal, even ourselves, we'd say. Ryder and Jordan became beacons for others navigating turbulent waters. In the end, it wasn't a perfect happily ever after, but a real one, messy, profound, human. When I tried to leave, my heart remembered, pulling me back to the man who'd never let go. In America's vast landscape, from bustling cities to serene mountains, we found our truth. Love endures, not despite the storms, but because of them.